Well, hello, everybody. It is the Dennis and Andy Show with your movie review for the week. This time, we did want to go see this one movie, Ordinary Angels, but it was sold out. So, we were like, well, we got to go see something.
That's right.
So I said, Dennis, here's a movie called Land of Bad. It stars Liam Hemsworth. He's the main star, and Russell Crowe's in it. And I'm like, well, it's Russell Crowe. It can't be that bad. And we saw the trailer, and you're like, it looks like a typical action flick. All right, let's go see this. So we did. Dennis, what is this movie about?
Well, this wound up not being your typical action flick, but when an Army Halo team is basically ambushed, their only hope lies when an Air Force JTAC, which is really cool, Liam Hemsworth, and a drone pilot, Russell Crowe, they have to guide him through a 48-hour brutal battle for survival. And yes, when it says Land of Bad, it's because things went bad. Boy, did they ever. I will say this. It had so many great actors in it that I wasn't expecting because, didn't pay attention. The trailer made it look like an average action film. But you've got the Hemsworth brothers. You got Liam and Luke in it. You got Russell Crowe. I was like, cool. You got Milo Ventimiglia.
Yeah,
Hopefully I pronounced it right. But we all know him as Peter Petrelli because he's one of our favorites.
that's right.
And I was like, they got great people in here. I'm like, who knows? Maybe it'll surprise us and be a good movie.
Yeah, it's at first glance from the trailer, you're like, oh, they're remaking Behind Enemy Lines, the 2001 movie with Owen Wilson and Gene Hackman, where Owen gets shot down in Bosnia, just like it says, Behind Enemy Lines, whatever. And so you're like, they're just doing something like that. But there's so much more to it. It is a small, tight cast. Like Dennis said, Liam Hemsworth, Milo, because I can't pronounce his last name, and the couple other guys. It's just a unit of four, basically three Delta operators, and Liam, who's the JTAC, who is the guy that basically is his sole job really is just supposed to talk to Russell Crowe, the drone pilot, to say, okay, shoot a bomb over here, shoot a bomb over here. If they even need it, it's really that drone is really just for backup. These guys are going in to this hostile territory to basically rescue an asset.
Yeah.
And
It's a
they get
CIA
there.
asset.
Yes,
Yes.
CIA asset.
Yep.
And they get there and shit just goes south from the standpoint of, it's this nice looking compound, of course. And there's a dad and a attractive wife and a little, 10-year-old kid. And, whatever they do, whether it be drugs or whatever, they've got this big compound. But then this other group shows up and it looks like they're going to, it looks like basically a big buy of whether it's weapons or drugs, whatever. And that takes the crew back a little bit like, oh crap, we weren't expecting these other people to show up. This basically, small militia type to show up. Well, we'll save some of the stuff for the spoiler section, of course, but let's just say things go south really quickly when that other group shows up.
Yeah, so it is up to and Liam, his character, he's new. He's
Yeah.
fresh, he's meat. He is Air Force, that's what they call him. And and they're like, "Is this your first operation?" Because everything about him seemed green. And he goes, "No, no, no, second." And it was great
Yeah.
because they established really early on, whether he's like, "Well, could you handle yourself in a fight?" And it's awesome because he's like, "Well, if I am in the middle of shooting, we're in some deep shit."
Right. Pretty much. I mean, he's got all the gear, he's got his guns and stuff, but he also has to I'm saying weighed down, and I don't mean by heavy weight, but just the fact he's carrying all the communication equipment as well to be able to talk back to Russell Crowe, who's in Nevada, you know, at a military base manning these drones with, and Russell Crowe does have, uh, it's a two-person team, him and this woman, her name escapes me, but
It was Staff Sergeant Branson. That's who she played. She was adorable. She was
yeah,
fun. They had great chemistry. So you've really got two different sets of teams. You've got that back at Nellis Air Force Base and on the drone team, and you've got that chemistry with that band of people going on. And then you've got the chemistry of the four field guys that are suddenly realizing everything goes to hell when these guys show up and it goes bad. And, again, my expectations were that this would just be an average military action thriller. Okay. And I was like, okay, I've seen so many okay ones. All of a sudden, the chemistry just kicks in. The action scenes are great. The dialogue was fantastic. I was
it,
looking for like big plot holes and I didn't see big plot
no, it
holes.
wasn't. The thing that we really liked about it, or I really liked about it, is it wasn't over the top. There wasn't over the top ridiculous dialogue. The action scenes, when shit goes south with the gun battles and RPGs and everything, wasn't ridiculously over the top where you're going, oh, get out of here. I don't believe that for a second. The way these guys got hurt and stuff, it was just all very believable. Even in some scenes, from the standpoint of, you did get the feeling like you were there with them, like there was some field reporter with a camera filming this, and that's how you were viewing it. um you cared about these characters, for for the little bit, I guess you'd say, of background and stuff they gave on these guys. They did a good enough job where it wasn't force fed down your throat, and you you cared about them.
You did.
Liam Hemsworth, he's like his brother Chris. He's a good looking dude. He's in good shape. Milo's in good shape. The other two Delta actors were in good shape, but they should be, because of what roles they're playing. You know, so yeah. I mean, I don't know how much more we want to go into
I was going to say
or
we
not.
we really should. It was a surprisingly fun movie with great action scenes. Um, Far better than I was anticipating. I was so disappointed in not seeing Ordinary Angels that maybe I did have lower expectations because the trailer looked okay, but wow, it was so good. So we really want to talk more in the spoilers. So let's rate this thing.
All right, go for it.
Um, like I said, I had very low expectations. Everything about this movie was a good surprise to me. I enjoyed everything about it. I this is a movie I will watch again. I'm giving this a 9.0. I loved it. As a matter of fact, my wife I think would actually like this movie. So this may be one where I take her to go see it.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I'm just a little below. I'm going 8.5. But same thing. When it was over, we usually try not to talk about the movie so we can save it for this morning. But honestly, I looked at Dennis and I said, dude, that was damn good.
Right?
High above expectations. I couldn't believe how good that was. So, and that's basically all we both said about it, but we kind of knew going in to this
Yeah.
morning,
Yeah,
you know.
so Land of Bad. Let's do this. We always check and see what
Oh
the
yeah.
critics and other people do. IMDb is a 6.5, so a lot lower than I would have given it.
Doesn't
Critics
surprise
for
me.
Rotten Tomatoes, a 61. Critics are like, it's fine. Audience, 93%.
No shit. That's
Yeah,
awesome. I love hearing that.
I do too, because like I said, it's a rarity that we walk out of there both going, "Wow, that was great." And I mean, I felt great after that movie, and leave it to the professional critics to be down on it. But we can only give you our feeling when we walk out of the movie. And
Yeah.
we both were feeling great. So I'm glad to see the audience really liked it. So kudos. But now we need to talk some spoilers.
Yeah, we do. In 3, 2, 1. This is where we talk spoilers. If you don't want to hear them, thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, and share. And all right, we're getting into spoilers. You know, the shit that goes south, like I said in the previous segment, this other group shows up, whether it's a a buy or whatever's going on, they are looking just to take over. So they basically turn on everybody, execute this guy's guards, the family's guards and stuff, and then they've got the husband, down on all fours. They put the wife down on all fours. The leader of this group wants to get information, obviously, out of the husband, and he just pulls out this huge machete and just hacks the wife's head right off. I mean, they show it through the lens of the dude's high-tech binoculars, one of the Delta guys up on this mountain ridge, not too far away. But it was still pretty shocking, to watch. This movie did not pull any punches in regards to the violence, but they did it in such a realistic way, even with the people getting shot and stuff like that. It wasn't some of like the over the top, like if
Right.
you think like a Deadpool or something like that when somebody gets shot. It
Yeah,
was
this wasn't
very
this wasn't John Wick like, guys. This
no.
was very realistic action. And I will say this: when that head went off, I mean, there were not many of us in the audience, and we were just like, "Oh," it's like, I mean, verbally, and you're like,
Oh yeah,
"Wow."
my daughter went with us and she was like, "Oh." But then where the stuff really goes south is for the team is after they did that to her, they grabbed like the 10-year-old kid and they're about to do the same thing if the husband doesn't talk. Well, at this point, the Delta guys are like, there's no way I'm letting a kid get his head cut off. And before the guy can do it, they just open fire. And that was it because they just gave away their position.
Well, they
And
had launched a Hellfire missile as a distraction to try and do it, and he goes inbound in 30 seconds. Russell
right,
Crowe telling him, and they're like, "We don't have 30
we don't
seconds.
have 30
We
seconds.
need
Yeah.
to." So they took it out right at the moment. Then it hits, and again, now we got to talk a little bit about special effects. So when these Hellfire missiles come down and the different ones, they got different ordnance. The drone wound up having a malfunction and they had to go back to base to get fixed. So, and again, this is where you cut back and forth, you get interaction. He's out golfing and stuff like that, waiting for the drone. The drone comes back. They do such a great job of kind of ping ponging it and then yet reintegrating into the story right away. And they develop this relationship. Both Russell Crowe, who's named Reaper, and then Liam, who's Kinney, they're the two communicating. They do such a great job and they build on the characters through all of this. The special effects from the drone stuff is fantastic. When they're in small arms fire, or the guys have rocket RPGs, that they're firing from their shoulders, everything is realistic. I mean, there was nothing over the top. This isn't commando type stuff. This
Right.
was actually, like you had said earlier, like somebody was there. Everything about it was realistic. Their wounds were not a grievous. They didn't get their arms lopped off and then just kept fighting. When they got hit, they got hit. There was
Well, there
blood.
was
It
even
was so realistic.
one scene where Liam Hemsworth was fighting this guy. And after the guy gets taken out, we'll say, Liam looks at his hand and on his pinky, his one nail is just totally ripped off.
Yeah.
Right. And he's like, oh, damn. And so it's almost death by a thousand cuts because for a while he is by himself trudging through this jungle and stuff, trying to get to a landing zone. And like Dennis said, his only communication is with Russell Crowe, Reaper. And so there's these quiet moments as he's walking along the jungle, and they're using the drone and satellite imagery to let Liam know if there's people around, so on and so forth, and where to walk to. And so there are these quiet moments where they just, and this is what I really liked, and you could see it happening where, Reaper's never met this kid before and vice versa. So part of Reaper's job, Russell Crowe's job, because he's been in the military so long, he's been doing this so long, is he wants to keep the kid cool, calm, and collected. So he's just asking him stuff about, oh, where are you from? And trying to connect with him on that level. And it was just really well done. It really had a nice balance of action and those quiet type moments, while at the same time being a nail biter all the way up until the end.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. And again, the whole cast, Ricky Whittle, he played Bishop, one of the team members. A couple of them, Luke Hemsworth, who played Abel, he bit it, Abel went down, and all the different team members and stuff like that. Like I said, this is not rated G. I mean, they lose members, and then when Milo bites it, because, there's the big spoiler, we're like, holy crap, they actually killed off, like, we would consider going into this. He was one of the big names.
right.
But he did it in such a great heroic way. And
Oh
again,
my God.
right down to it, and the way that everything was set up with the scenes, in the underground tunnels where they're, the bad guys have holed up and they give an explanation of why those tunnels are there from Japanese occupation. They set up and explained everything through not only exposition, but, within dialogue. They didn't leave a lot of unanswered questions. This was an incredibly well done movie. It was well written. It was incredibly well acted out. And the scenes were choreographed fantastically. Like I said, production value of this was phenomenal. So much better than I was anticipating. I mean, this is going to be a great movie to see. And even Russell Crowe's, it's great. He's got his relationship, with Sergeant Branson, and she's adorable in this. And she steps up, and Russell Crowe's character, Reaper's kind of like Maverick. He bucks the system. There's a reason why he's still a captain after all this time. And their relationship and dynamics with the actual colonel, the full-bird colonel there, was great. I mean, everything, they were small little details, but they were so well done. This movie was so surprisingly good.
Yeah, I would definitely catch it on the big screen if you can. Go see it. I think you'll really enjoy it just as much as you'll really enjoy Nice and Tight, the comic book pencil art of Andy Smith. That's me. Guys, 64 pages, oversized book. We're at $8,479. So we're only $521 away from 9,000, which unlocks the last stretch goal, which is making this a very nice wire bound book. So you can really open it up and lay it flat to absorb the nice fully pencil work that I did from some of my favorite jobs. If you want to practice inking, laying it flat, you can scan pages easier, put tracing paper or vellum over the pages to practice with traditional tools. So go check that out. Link in the description below. And of course, Kor-Drath the Awakening. The sign up page is live. Guys, go sign up now. And by signing up and backing the campaign when it's live, you'll get this beautiful Adriana trading card done by me and Kelsey Shannon on colors. And you'll get front of the line shipping. This is the much anticipated follow up to Kor-Drath, The Reckoning. Here is the full cover A, if you will, by me and Dan Lawless again. And then, of course, there's a homage cover. Oh, look at that right there. What's it homaging? Trivia. You tell us. We already know. And we've got our man Bud Root working on a variant cover as well. He did the Lilith one originally. Now he's doing a variant cover featuring Adriana. So, guys, go check that out. Link in the description. Make sure you sign up for when the campaign goes live in the beginning of April. We will be back next Wednesday, 3 p.m. We'll have a guest. Stay tuned to find out who it is. And have a great weekend and go watch Land of Bad.
That's right.
Bye-bye, everybody. Oh, yeah. Gang sign. Nice and Tight, the comic book pencil art of Andy Smith. That's me. This book features 52 pages of some of my favorite full pencils that I did for other companies over the past 2 decades. The raw pencils as they were seen by the inker, and now you can see them for the first time. This book also comes in a digital format so you can practice your inking in your favorite program. Back it today.